Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of System Update. This episode is a rather upsetting one. As usual, I will be covering 3 topics related to the world of gaming, so without further ado, let's jump right into it. CEO of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, has passed on the 11th of July 2015 at the age of 55. He is most prominently known for his works in various Nintendo franchises like The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Bros., and Animal Crossing. Along with that, he gave birth to the hugely successful Nintendo Wii and DS systems. He was absent at E3 2014 due to surgery to get a tumor removed from his bile duct. However, on the 12th, Nintendo announced Iwata's death and that it was due to complications with the tumor. A funeral service was held on the 16th and 17th in Kyoto, and over 4,000 people attended. Iwata will be remembered for his contributions to the gaming world and will forever be missed. Five Nights at Freddy's 4, the final chapter, has been announced to be released 2 months earlier, sometime in August, rather than October 31st or Halloween. The first trailer was recently posted up on Scott Cawthon's official YouTube channel. Scott has announced that he will have some other surprise waiting on the 31st of October. Personally, I think the Five Nights games get a lot more hate than they deserve. Though I agree the games all came out a bit fast, this being the 4th game in the span of only 1 year, I do have some good things to say about the games. The gameplay is very unique, and the closest game I compare it to is Night Trap, which came out 30 years ago. Each game is different enough to justify being a sequel, and the very hidden story gets more and more interesting as games come out and is good enough to justify the movie, which is currently in the works. However, Five Nights at Freddy's 4 just does not look all that great of a game. The game, visually, doesn't look nearly as good as its predecessors, and the gameplay looks like it's going back to the check lights, close door formula of Five Nights at Freddy's 1. The animatronics, however, look terrifying as ever. They have like 17 rows of teeth. Watch the trailer, they're scary. The weirdest thing is this game now takes place in a house rather than a pizza parlor. So it's not really Five Nights at Freddy's anymore. Now it's like Five Nights at your place, except Freddy's there too. However, this kind of makes sense, as all the promotional art for the game so far has featured the word nightmare hidden somewhere in the picture. Usually you turn up the brightness of the picture, and you get to see the word nightmare at the bottom of the picture. As much as I love the series and the games, I can agree with everybody when people say that Five Nights at Freddy's has outstayed its welcome by so long. It could have easily ended with Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Heck, even Five Nights at Freddy's 2, there was enough there to kind of, because I assume he keeps making the games either to continue the bizarre storyline or because it's a major cash cow. Probably a good mixture of both. And they could have ended at Five Nights at Freddy's 2. There was plenty there to, form a conclusion, even if there were still a lot of things up to your mind, there's still plenty there to form some sort of story conclusion. I really hope this game lives up to its title and truly is the final chapter. For a while, Deep Silver was working with Yager development on Dead Island 2, which was scheduled to be released in spring of 2015, and then was delayed to sometime in 2016. No specific time in 2016, hopefully Q1. However, on the 13th of July, Deep Silver announced a parting with Yager, saying that they are no longer working with them to finish the game. This was possibly the reasoning for the game's delay. They stated, "With Dead Island 2, Deep Silver has always dedicated to delivering the sequel that Dead Island fans deserve. After careful consideration, today we announce a decision to part ways with development partner Yager. We will continue working towards bringing our vision of Dead Island 2 to life, and we will share further information at a later stage." The next day, the CEO of Yager, Timo Ullman, issued a statement, claiming that the parting was due to conflicting visions on the game. The team worked with enthusiasm to take Dead Island 2 to a new level of quality. However, Yager and Deep Silver's respective visions of the project fell out of alignment. which led to the decision that has been made. He also mentioned that Yager will now be able to focus all their attention on Dreadnought, their space combat game. Nothing has been said on who will replace Yager or if any studio at all will be taking their place. Personally, I never liked the Dead Island games. I've only played the first one, which is just an average game at best. But according to fans, it only gets worse from there, so I was never too drawn to play Riptide and all the other ones. So, because of my experiences with the first game, I was never too excited for Dead Island 2 to begin with. But I considered giving it a shot. I thought I would still buy the game, give it a shot. Maybe it will be a lot better than Dead Island. However, now that an entire studio has just flat out left, I'm expecting something more disappointing than what I was already expecting. Imagine it as 20 bakers working on this enormous cake. Like, this is the cake the size of somebody's front lawn. Half the bakers want a vanilla cake, half the bakers want a chocolate cake. They can't come to some sort of conclusion, so half of them just left. Now we have 10 bakers working on a cake that's supposed to be the size of a cake made to be baked by 20 bakers. Now, the cake ends up being made, except now it is a very lower quality cake. More than half the quality cake that we wanted in the first place, and nobody wants a bad cake, and nobody wants a bad game. Nobody wants half the developers leaving the development of the game, because then we're just gonna get a far worse game than what I already predict was not going to be a great game. If that example didn't make a lot of sense and it was a bit long, here is the short version. Half the developers, a lower quality game. You would think that this conflict would be resolved long before the final development of stages of the game. You'd think that they would have, figured out that they wanted two different types of games from the get-go, like when they started to work together, but apparently that was not the case, and it happened during the last, not even a year of development, like last 5 months. Let's hope Deep Silver can still pull off the sequel that Dead Island fans deserve, and don't end up just throwing out, a piece of crap that nobody wants to play. So, that was a bit of a downer. Satoru Iwata died, but I hope that whoever takes his place will be just as great, and I have no doubt in my mind that will be the case. I guess until next time, I'll see you in episode 6. Goodbye.